So we're talking about viruses and ideas. That's a
Yeah.
very good analogy. I have never heard of that before. Tell me, in your words, what does it mean?
Take, for example, the corona pandemic. Such a small, tiny piece of material made a huge impact on us and spread so quickly around the world. We adopted it, multiplied it in our body, and then spread it to others. You may see the correlation. If you think about ideas, you talk with other people about these ideas. So you start to become an agent of this idea. You start to spread these ideas. But once people adopt these ideas, you or me or group of people will become servant of this idea.
So first of all, thank you for having me over. It's wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, Rehan. I'm very happy that you are here.
Since New York, I think.
Even more, I guess. No, first time then we met in Turkey.
The first time we were Turkey, then we met in New York, then we met in London last time. Actually, we met in London last time for lunch.
Oh, it's about 10 years, maybe? No.
First time or?
First time.
First time. No, 7, 8.
8 years.
Physically. Online, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Thank you for being an interesting person in my life who I can reflect with, who I can talk with. You always have a different perspective. I think you meet a lot of different people and read different books than I do, so you have a very different perspective on life. So it helps me learn. So we're talking about viruses and ideas. That's a very good analogy. I have never heard of that before. And tell me, in your words, what does it mean? Viruses and ideas are the same.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy that you are here. You know, we met through Facebook, which at the time I used, but as I told you, I stopped. I'm not using my Facebook anymore or any other social network because I think somehow along the way they missed their
whoever Zuckerberg.
The point. At the beginning, I thought it would be something that make people closer, and I think now a lot of people use social network or Facebook to hate each other, I would say, and I don't like it. So I decided to disconnect myself from it, and it's very much related to our discussion because, you know, Carl Jung suggests that ideas capture people and not people capture ideas. And if you think about it, you see that once someone adopts a certain idea or ideology, this ideology he start to serve it. So in a way, he became a slave of this idea. And what's important to know, whatever we do, we adopt ideas. Also, what I'm suggesting now, it's also an idea. But I think we have the freedom of choice. We can
do it.
I think so, because if you understand that once you capture an idea, you have to serve this idea, you may be able to choose what ideas you would prefer to serve and which idea you prefer not to serve. Which ideas serve your cause or the way you want to spend the limited time that we have on this planet or not. And I think, I'm not sure this is something people invest enough time before they make their choices. Some would say, you know, they're just born and raised into a certain environment, that that's what they know. Some suggest that the people around them force them to choose those kind of ideas. But if you look carefully, you see that in any societies, there are people who are free thinkers, the people that make their choices differently.
What percentage is that?
Well, I never did the research, so I cannot tell you, but but it means that the possibility exists, and many people know it and adopt other ideas, but for instance, they are not willing to share it with others. So inside, you choose different ideas.
Just a different kind of virus.
Yeah. And but for outside, because the society, because the environment where they live, they prefer to share, not to share this idea with their group of people they live. So I think if it's a
So you were comparing virus to a code.
Yeah, if you check the similarities between virus and idea, you might find that they're quite close. For instance, a virus doesn't have life of itself. Virus, it's only a code. It's only a code, a biological code, but it doesn't have a will like a human has, and it doesn't have an aim. It doesn't have something he think about or want to have, as far as we know, of course. Maybe the universe as a whole have an aim or an idea, but this is something we don't know. We can just make assumption about. So if you take the virus itself, it's just a piece of material. Just it's nothing. Just organize a material that organizes a certain way that can be accepted by our body. Once our body exposed to this virus, we adopt it and then start to multiply it. So it's our body that actually uses the virus. It's not the virus that's using us. And if you take, for example, the corona pandemic, and you think about it, it's quite amazing thing. To think that such a small, tiny piece of material have created such an impact on our societies in a way that by the way, we don't know yet what the end result of this. But such a small piece of material made a huge impact on us and spread so quickly around the world. But we were the agents. So we were the human, we adopted it without knowing, of course, and multiply it in our body and then spread it to others. And you may see the correlation. If you think about ideas, we adopt the ideas, so idea doesn't have spirit, it doesn't have a will, it doesn't have an agenda, it's just an idea. What is this idea? It's organized information. Same as virus. Virus is an organized information. It's like a code. You can say the same about a virus on a computer. It doesn't have its own life. It's just a code. Someone created this code. Now this code got into the computer, multiply itself, and spread to other computers. It's the same thing. So ideas are the same thing. They have no agenda. But once people adopt these ideas, and once these ideas take a big part of your being, which means you think about them, you fight for them, you talk with other people about these ideas, so you start to become an agent of this idea. You start to spread these ideas. And once people hear it from you and from others, they say, wow, maybe this idea is the right idea. Maybe this idea is important. Maybe this idea we should adopt because this is the way to live our life. And suddenly, you or me or group of people will become servant of this idea. So once you understand the mechanism, we have to ask ourselves whether we want to serve this idea. And to understand that once you adopt this idea and once you start to fight for this idea, from my point of view, it's not even servant, it's a slave. You became a slave of these ideas. And it's not even the people who invite you to adopt this idea.
Mm.
It's not even the books that you read and invite you to adopt this idea. It's yourself. You adopt the idea. A book doesn't have its own spirit.
Mm.
A book can express ideas as much as a virus doesn't have its own spirit. Just transforming piece of information. And therefore we have to be very, I think we have to be very aware. We have to be aware of what kind of idea we adopt and where these ideas can lead us, where this idea can lead us, how they can impact our life, how can they impact our society, and understand the power of these ideas. Because if these ideas spread quickly or in a very fundamental way, they start to impact the way we live. And I think most of the conflict we are facing today in our societies, you can see it anywhere, in any country in the world. You can see the polarity. You can see how much people are eager to fight for the ideas that they adopt, like it's their own, but it's not. It's not their own. It's not who they are. They think it's part of their identity, but it's not their identity. This is adopted identity. It doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you are a businessman or a professor in the academy or an artist. This is only a title, adopted title. Maybe you are a rabbi or mufti or a guru. It's not you. It's an adopted idea.
Sounds like a science fiction movie where the virus comes in and you become a mutant and then you start eating people. And you're no longer the same thing. You're the same body, but the virus comes and changes you.
Yeah. And we know there are viruses that also impact the brain. So there are some idea how viruses change us, and definitely viruses have changes us, because the coronavirus changed our society in a way we don't understand yet. But it's interesting because there is a piece of information that doesn't have any aim or will of itself and created a huge change. So I see the correlation between ideas and viruses, and I wish people will be more critical in the way they think about ideas. And I think ideas are ideas. There's no good ideas or bad idea. There are no better idea or worse ideas. In this book that I have read, Transferring Reality, Vadim Zeland, a Russian author, suggests that ideas are like pendulum. They are swinging from one side to another. And during this swing, they take people with them. And once you get into this, step into this swing, this pendulum, it uses your energy. Same like viruses. I don't know if have you had corona? It's not fun. we were sick for, I think, 3 times, I guess.
How does it mutate then? It says that the virus mutates.
Because we have like little factories in our body. I'm not.
So our body will mutate it and create a new version of it.
So it's not a new version. Well, they have some changes because it evolves as well, because it's mutate. But in general, if I got the virus from you, then it go into my cells, and my cells start to produce this piece of information, and also to spread it. So it built up in the how we from our breath. So it's a very sophisticated mechanism that they evolve in, in a fantastic way, because you see how quick it can spread all over the world, and I think it taught us how close we all are. You cannot push problems to the other side of the world. They come back to you very quickly in a very, very smart way. So this piece of information, like in a computer, start to multiply in your body and then to start to spread. And you don't know at the beginning. So it's smart enough to hide it, because if you're already sick, you might not go outside, but after a period of time that you feel well, you carry the virus, you're spreading the virus, or you don't know about it. It's very, very smart.
How can we self-evaluate to see if the virus is something we want to keep, or the idea, or we want to flush it down?
That's a very good question. First of all, not always we know that we are carrying the virus. As I said, the virus at the beginning, you don't know that you're carrying. But ideas, you very much have to, first of all, to decide what kind of the idea you want to expose yourself. For instance, I don't read newspapers, or I don't read news online. I avoid it. Why avoid it? Because I know that they are virus spreaders. Okay? Because they need to capture people attraction. And how would you capture people attraction? By bringing ideas that are not interesting, or ideas that are interesting? Interesting ideas. What is more interesting? A tiger that's walking in front of your door, or a little nice dog? What will grab your attention more?
They say the amygdala is more attracted towards the fear part.
Fear. So most of the, I don't want to generalize, but most of the media outlet, they use fear to capture attention, and then to put advertisement. They have to survive. So by nature, that's what they do. So if you consume this information all the time, your perception and they have to grow it, because something that you were afraid of a few years ago, you get used to it.
The immune system is becoming
you're not afraid, so they have to bring something more stronger, with stronger words, and etc. So if you consume this regularly, you might not even notice that your perception about reality is that the world is a very dangerous place, which is not. Part of it is dangerous. In the jungle, you have many animals. You have tigers and giraffes and elephants and raccoons and you name it. Crocodiles, birds, bees. Some of them are dangerous and some of them are not dangerous for you.
Majority of them are not dangerous.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with them.
They're still, if you go in Africa in the safari, you see the animals. Usually they are calm. Once in a while there are issues and they have to fight for their life. But most of the time they're okay. So the perception that the world is a dangerous place cultivate by the media, because the media has a need to survive. So, and that's why these ideas are get more exposure in those ideas. So first of all, to be aware of this, the reason why you're exposed to this information, to decide whether you want to be exposed to this information. I decided not to be exposed to this information because I understand that this is the reality. It's only part of the reality.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the first thing. Secondly, to check.
The quarantine first. You can quarantine yourself.
No, but I like people. I like to meet people.
Quarantine from the newspapers.
I prefer.
I do the same. I don't watch TV anymore.
I prefer. I don't find it. Hey, Maple. I don't find it, I don't think it has a positive contribution to my quality of life. All right. So I prefer to avoid it. Of course, if something big happened, I usually know because people share with me this idea, this information, this virus or whatever you call it. Secondly is to check yourself. Do I have a fever? Or not? Do I feel good? What are the reasons? Any idea that bother me? And if there are ideas that bother me or concern, usually there's like concern about the future of society, about the future of the economy, you name it. There are endless of reason to be concerned about. And if there are concerns or things that worry us, we have to check, like, I like to read statistics, for instance, to give me a better view about what are the serious concerns that we have. And but the problem is that if many people have the same concerns, we are creating a problem, a real problem. Okay. If many people believe that the economy is going to collapse, probably the economy is going to collapse. So again, the impact of this virus on us is a real impact. It's not a theoretical question. So if we are not, so if we are not aware of this information, and we are not selective about what we take in, then we become spreaders by ourselves without even knowing. So I read something horrible about whatsoever the collapse of the humanity because of the economical crisis, and this is a virus. Now I go to Iran, in 10 days everything going to collapse. We're going to have the disaster moment, or UFOs are coming, and many war is in our front door. If I convince you, now you are the spreader, because you will go to your friends and listen, I met this guy, he's talking very seriously about huge collapse in economy that's going to take place. Guys, it doesn't mean it. I don't believe it's going to. Don't take it as a suggestion.
So how do we reevaluate ourselves? Because
this is the first thing. And second, to remember that you are also a spreader. So we have to be responsible. And to ask yourself, would I spread something just because it sounds like a good, like strong message? Like I have something to say because, wow, I can put fear in my friend's heart. We have to be careful. You have to take it into consideration to know it's only an information. And there is a dilemma, because you might say, yeah, but I have to warn my friends. It's a big dilemma. Once you have the virus in your heart, once this information is inside you and you adopted it, it's very, very hard to not to spread it out. You feel bad. You say, wow, I know that in 10 days, the economy is going to collapse, and I'm not telling to anyone about this. It's horrible. What a horrible person I am. And imagine, I gave it to you and you spread it to other people, and then 10 days after, it truly collapsed. And say, oh my God, I'm so lucky that I told my friends. But actually we have created this. Yeah, so this is the second thing. And third thing, I think, is that to evaluate whether it's how it impacts my quality of life, and if it makes my life better or worse in a very personal level, in my circles. Because I believe we can choose our circles of people. So today's people that come to me every here and there with the apocalyptic ideas, I tell them, not relevant. Sorry, not relevant. They say, how come not relevant? We're going to destroy the world. I tell them, listen, if you are right, it's going to happen anyway. So why to bother? If that's going to happen, if we're going to fail, we live in UK. Am I afraid from a nuclear war here? No. Why I'm not afraid? Because I say if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What am I going to do about it? Hopefully it's going to be quick. But I don't want to suffer twice. To suffer now and then suffer when it happens.
Yeah.
And I don't think if I raise my voice, it's going to make any. All this public opinion doesn't take us anywhere, I guess. What can make a difference is how you influence your small circle of people in a positive way. To calm the people down, not to make them more scary. I think we need ideas that make people more comfortable with what is happening around these days. For example, I give an example. I believe that nature is a balance mechanism. So although we see today where a lot of people worried about many issues from environment to political tension and others, nature know how to balance itself, even environmentally. The earth doesn't care less if we destroy it or not. Imagine we destroy earth. So we will be destroyed, humanity will vanish, and after, I don't know, some time, everything will come back. Trees will grow up, the balance will get to its place, you know? So why to worry about this? What else? I can ask myself, what can I do about it by myself? But shouting about it, it's not going to work. But showing example for my kids, how I save energy, can make a small donation to solving the problem.
So you like to connect people. You tried Facebook, connected with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to use Facebook.
No.
Do you have any ideas on how we should connect more people together? Does it help?
You know, after I did this experiment and I connect people in Facebook, and then I realized that because Facebook, it's not like we are sitting face to face, because the people hiding behind their computers, so they don't really take into consideration other people and the way they express this idea. And this creates some kind of a vicious cycle where people allow themselves to behave in a way.
That.
Let's say that I'm on Facebook and I went to a specific group, and this specific group, people post their ideas that I'm not, they're not accepted by me. And I don't know these people personally. So maybe I know the name, I see a photo, but there's no really connection. There's no real connection between us.
You don't even know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. They're just something, symbol. They are a symbol of an idea that I don't accept. That's it. I don't know nothing about their life, about the families, about what they like. And I doesn't have to take them into consideration. Because if I sit in front of someone, I have to take him into consideration. And because this wall exists, I think people allow themselves to express ideas that they wouldn't do if they sit in front of someone face to face. They don't have this layer of respect that I believe many people has to others.
Most people have.
So, yeah. So what happened? Because I don't have respect to these people, I don't know them, I don't care about them, maybe I will put something which is a bit more extreme, an idea which is a bit more extreme than I would if I would sit with them. And they see this, oh, this guy is not from our own circle, we don't know him, and he talk in a way that we don't accept. Now we want to pay him back in the same currency. So they express something in a way that they wouldn't express if they meet with him. But because it's a virtual entity, they use harsh words and they put something which is stronger to make a point. The other guy look at it and say, you see, I'm right. These are bad people. I must have punished them in a strong way and tell them exactly what I think about them. And I don't want to say bad word, but he put his post, and they read it and get confirmation. Why not to believe this guy? So then you create some kind of of a spiral, of a vicious cycle. That people start to use harder and more harsh words, and you see it everywhere in all societies. You see it here between parties. You see it in America. You see it everywhere. In any society, you see it, and people are getting more and more angry about others with their opinion. You said the whole point was to put people together and share ideas. Now it's become like a war zone, a digital war zone. I don't want to be part of it. I'm generalizing because, on the other hand, I met few nice people and had good relationship
We
with
wouldn't
them.
be having this talk.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
Never.
We also made an effort to meet each other face to face. And I hope I behave most of the time.
No, but imagine we go to school and we don't know the people in our class. We come from a different village or a different household. And now one of the person is more aggressive than the others. They become a bully. They start shouting. But then there's a curator who comes in and says, look, this is wrong. You need to sit together and make an acquaintance and then sort it out. In the school, they're still doing the same thing, which they're on Facebook. But the challenge with Facebook is nobody is telling you what is right, what is wrong. Nobody gave a manual of ethics.
Not only, you also cannot hurt yourself. So if the guy is
Physically,
strong guy, you have
yourself.
to take it into consideration.
Right.
And if the guy who do it knows that the school can punish him for this, is also taking into consideration.
Right. Well, now Facebook has started to punish, but the point I was making is that in the society, when we are in the physical realm, this one, so nobody's teaching us how to really engage on social media. Nobody has come up with a manual. So that's why I wrote the book about it. That's why I've been teaching how to use Facebook for a positive purpose. So to bring people together, to educate them how to do it in a way where you don't do what you just mentioned, right? You don't fight on it. Suppose in the physical world, most people can't afford to travel. They cannot do a physical interaction like we're doing. Most of the people from Pakistan can't find you. They wouldn't have time. They wouldn't be able to catch you. They wouldn't be able to do anything about you. So it does open the space to make this happen in the physical world. It's a route. It's a different route.
I agree. I believe video conferencing is much better than
people are shy.
writing, for instance.
Most people want
this is part of it. This is to be shy. It's part of it. It's part of to expose yourself.
Yeah.
Because if we let people hide behind the screens, the result always will be negative. Even if you teach them, because it's part of our culture. We have to take into consideration other people. And if I'm no one and you are no one, where it's going to take us? So the video conferencing is making a big difference. So I believe that and we see it already, we're going to see a video conferencing platform, social platform evolve. And I think then it's better. It doesn't solve the problem totally, but it makes a difference.
But I think
if you see in Zoom or Google Meet and I used during the Corona, I made I call it Zoomite. Every evening I invited very interesting people to talk, and you see that people, once they are in front of the camera, they feel more exposed, and therefore they take other people more into consideration. So I think this is very important. And people, look, if you want to express your view, I want to know you. If I'm smart enough, I would say, okay, if this guy doesn't want to expose his identity, I better don't listen to his ideas. If he doesn't want to show me who he is, why would I listen to him? And the other way around, if I want to tell you who I am or what kind of ideas I adopt and I'm spreading, I have to show you who I am. I have to expose myself to you.
I think a lot of people don't share ideas because of that reason. I was talking to someone a month ago, and he's a PhD professor. Not professor, he's also professor now. He worked with the government. He wants to do a lot of good impact work. He's like, I don't want my name to come ever. I said, then I don't want to work with you. Very simply, I'm not going to work with you. I'm not going to buy a book based on no author.
Yeah.
I don't have random time like this.
I agree with you.
So he said, I suggested, if you write a book, would you put your name on it? I said, yes. So then why are you shy about giving your ideas to, when you're talking in public, you have to show your face. You have to.
You know, it's like, what's the difference between the chicken and the egg? Or between commitment and involvement. So the kids ask his father, the farmer, what's the difference between commitment and involvement? So you see, when you eat an egg, it's involvement. When you eat the chicken, she's committed.
I don't get it.
It's like, if you are committed, you have to put yourself in front.
Yeah. But most
if you just want to be involved and give you ideas, and like there is need to be a balance. I don't want to share ideas that I'm not committed to.
Religiously, they think, I'm giving you a problem, maybe you can help me solve it. Religiously, a lot of people think that if they come up and talk about something, they're doing it for the ego purposes. Oh, we are amazing. We are this and that. So, but no, I'm humble. I don't want my name anywhere. You go out and tell the story. I will tell you, and you go out and tell the story. And I think that's one of the biggest reason for people to fight, because the smart people don't come forward and talk about it. And it's not from now. I mean, if you go back thousands of years, it's the same thing, that the whole society collapses because the smart people don't come forward. Smart people.
Yeah, but they can decide to share their view in their small circles, like
they do.
One of my
which they do, Arnon. But the challenge today is we are so hyper interconnected that it doesn't really, the impact that it will create would take so much time in the small circle. Like, we could have had this conversation over a cup of coffee, right? It would have been more open. We could have been more comfortable. But the impact, the virus will not spread fast enough.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Look at the viruses. The viruses.
I totally agree. It depends on the type of virus.
The corona didn't spread through the social networks. It spread
but
through
there are billions of viruses.
Connections.
Only one of them managed to do this. So, for example, new softwares come every day. ChatGPT spread like crazy, but everybody else did not. So not every virus has the power to spread like ChatGPT. Even they themselves did not know that it will spread like this. So Google is a powerful virus. It has not spread in majority of the world yet. If people really understood how powerful it is, they would force themselves to buy a smartphone, buy the internet access, really take advantage of it. But most people don't Google. In my country, most people don't Google. They would Google very small little things, but they can't get out of their viruses or ideas through Google because there is information. They're unable to delete. The antivirus is not there. They don't know how to undelete their ideas and ideologies, which is basically through what you're saying. And that's why I was asking, how do you get out of it?
I'm afraid, I don't have a clear answer for this. I'm afraid that I can spread fear during social networks and the interconnectivity that we have through the internet. And I say it with pain, because when I've started with the internet in 1991, I thought this is going to change the world for better. But then I realized that fear spread very nicely through the internet, but values much less. And I prefer to focus on values. And what I do
positive values.
Positive values, and I do it with the people around me. And I'm not trying to be smart or better or whatsoever. I'm just, to meet with someone, to give him a hug, it's a lot. It's not high level philosophy. No. I have friends from all over the world. Even people that they are from countries that are not in relationship from my country. So what? I enjoy talking with them.
Yeah.
And we talk about everything. We don't hide. We talk also about politics and whatsoever, but they know that I like them. This is the most important thing. To express the fact that you like this person. And I don't like all of them in general because of their origin. I like this specific person because I like him, because what he expressed and the way he behaved and the way we share, we break bread together. And also, we talk about his origin or where he came from, whatsoever. But there's a deeper layer there. And that's what I have to explain. And he feels it and I feel it. So when he speaks with his friends, he says, I know this guy is not exactly what I thought about whatsoever. You are from Pakistan or from Iran or from Israel or from... Doesn't matter. And this you cannot deliver well enough through the network. To give a hug to someone virtually doesn't work. So, and then you say, okay, what we can do about it? So say, start in your little circles. Small circles. People around you. You are lucky that you travel and I feel lucky that I met you. And you meet people and you touch them and you maintain a relationship with them. So you have the ability to spread your message. People who cannot afford it, they can do it in their own circles. We're all connected with people around us. And also, I think that to share, to do video chat is very important because it's another layer of personal. And even if it's hard, we have to make an effort.
Thank you, Arnon. You have
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.